So thank you everyone for coming. My name is Detective Courtney Sullivan. I'm a detective here with Tavares Police Department. I'm joined here with our lieutenant over the Criminal Investigations Division. We as a group have been working diligently in this case. Here at our department, we wanted to provide the community with an update on our child abuse investigation that began February 22nd, 2025. Detectives have conducted numerous interviews and collected several pieces of evidence, and through this process, it has been revealed that there is more than one victim in this case. The younger brother in this case was also a victim of aggravated child abuse and child neglect. We will not go into details on what took place in the residence due to maintaining the integrity of the case. Kimberly Mills was methodical in what her children wore and what they said to others to ensure that absolutely no one would learn of what she was doing to her children behind closed doors. That being said, all fingers should be pointed in one direction at Kimberly Mills and Andre Walker, who participated together in hurting these children. Earlier this morning, we added additional charges on both Kimberly Mills and Andre Walker. For Kimberly Mills, she has been charged in total with the following: 2 counts of aggravated child abuse, 2 counts of child neglect, 2 counts of accessory to aggravated child abuse, 1 count of tampering with evidence. For Andre Walker, he has been charged in total with the following: 2 counts of aggravated child abuse, 2 counts of accessory to aggravated child abuse, 1 count of tampering with evidence. The 10-year-old boy remains in critical condition at the hospital. We are preparing for the worst. However, we are hoping for the best in terms of his recovery. We are working closely with the state attorney's office to ensure these 2 boys get the justice that they deserve. We commend our department as a whole, as every member has stepped up to assist in some way with this case. We ask that you continue to pray for these 2 boys, their father, and the rest of their family as they navigate this extremely difficult time. We have posted a link on our Facebook for others to donate, and we are also accepting gift card donations that will be given directly to the family. At this point, I will take any questions.
Can you talk about the kind of abuse that the 9-year-old had suffered? Was it similar to the abuse that the 10-year-old had, and any details that you could share on that?
I can't go into too much detail. However, we believe that they suffered very similar abuse, and that's why they were both charged, or both parties were charged with 2 counts of aggravated child abuse.
Can you explain the family dynamic? Were these long-term parents? Were they recently in the picture? Do you know how long this abuse had taken place?
Sure. So right now, we've determined that Kimberly Mills and Andre Walker are in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. We believe that it has been approximately 2 months. It's possible that it could be a little bit longer than that. Unsure of when the abuse started. However, it's leaning more towards that it was a recent period of time.
So 2 months that they were dating and not sure how long the abuse had been going on?
Unsure about how long the abuse has gone. However, we believe maybe about 2 months. It could be longer. We're still trying to dig further to figure that out.
You said that she was very meticulous in the clothes she put on them. Explain that.
So when the kids would go to school, they would wear longer sleeve shirts to cover up any marks. She ensured that they told absolutely no one. These kids were scared, and she made sure that absolutely no one would find out about it.
And I was going to say, that was one of the questions I was asked. Did they go to school? They went to school.
Yes, they went to school.
And teachers didn't report this because?
They didn't report it because they had no idea something was going on. Again, Kimberly Mills made absolute certainty, made sure that these kids were not going to tell teachers and that no one would find out. So.
Was she the one that you talked about the 2 different suspects in this case? She was the one that drove this and orchestrated it, your understanding?
They both participated completely.
Had they been in the care of Kimberly their entire lives, and does it seem like the abuse started when the boyfriend and her got together?
So that's something that we're still trying to navigate through. I definitely believe that we'll have further information in that with time.
But she was the primary caretaker for them?
They lived with mom. Dad lives out of state.
Can you explain the tampering with evidence charge?
So we believe that whenever they left the hospital, they went back to the residence to try to do a hasty cleanup. I'm happy to say that they did a really bad job because we were able to obtain several pieces of evidence that will definitely assist our case.
They said, so sad that the report said it looked like something hot had been put on the 10-year-old.
Mhm.
Do we know what that was to cause burn marks?
So we're not going to discuss any pieces of evidence that we collected,
What school did the 10-year-old go to?
not disclosing that.
Okay.
You talked about wanting to get the justice that they deserve.
Right.
Working with the state attorney's
Mhm.
office. This case is so horrific, you know, why has that been so important for your investigators, detectives, and I know you guys have been working really hard on this case,
Mhm.
especially seeing the circumstances here.
So we all become police officers to help the community, right? As detectives, we look for convictions. We don't look just to charge someone with something. We put an entire case together to piece it together to ensure that the people that we put in jail stay in jail. This case is especially sensitive because it's kids. Don't mess with kids, period. As parents, we will make sure that we will do whatever it takes to keep our children safe. But because we're also parents, any other child, we will try to do our best to keep them safe, and that's our job.
Did you say that she's a registered nurse?
Yes, we discovered that she's also a registered nurse. We have not been able to figure out exactly where she works, or if she is still currently working as a registered nurse.
I'm just, you know, this is blowing everyone's minds.
Mhm.
Where possibly were they coming from? A mother participating in this kind of abuse, allowing her boyfriend to do this kind of, just your thoughts.
My thoughts, I can't quite piece it together. Again, as a mother and a decent human being, I would like to think, no one can piece that part together. I think it's a perfect representation of the kind of people that they are, and I think they are exactly where they need to be, and I hope that they remain there. Our agency is doing everything we can to make sure that they stay there. I'll take 2 more questions.
So to follow up on that, I noticed in Kimberly's affidavit, it sounds like she's talking to you guys a little bit. Are either of them cooperating? Are they giving you any information?
Neither of them are cooperating. They both opted to not speak with us.
Do you find it unusual for, these kids are 9 and 10, she's only been with this guy for 2 months. That's pretty severe treatment over those 2 months. For her to, if that's only started in the last 2 months, doesn't it seem that she would have some sort of reaction or want to help in the case if that's not her normal type of activity? Does that tell you something about maybe
You would think that any mother would not allow that kind of activity. So who knows, maybe this occurred before he was in the picture. That's something that we're going to discover, I think, throughout our investigation. But I think it also clears a really perfect picture of the kind of person that she is. No mother would allow this to happen.
May I ask a question of both of you? I saw in an early interview that this case brought some of you folks to tears.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that is difficult. I mean, our detective division is small. We have 3 detectives and our lieutenant, so we work closely with one another. We're human. And unfortunately, I had a moment, and it happened to be in front of all the cameras. Not my shining moment, but I mean, I think it's a perfect representation for absolutely everyone to see that us police officers are human. We're parents, we're human, and we just do what we can. So,
No apologies necessary.
thank you.
Could you answer that question?
No,
No?
ma'am.
Oh. All right.
Sorry, just one more thing. I know the real dad is here now.
Right.
Do you know how they're doing? I know obviously the 10-year-old's in critical condition, but father and the 9-year-old?
I can't imagine what dad is going through to have just learned that this was going on and now his son is in critical condition. I don't want to be in his shoes. However, he's doing what he needs to do to ensure that they are taken care of and that he's making all the best decisions for them. Our community has already started to try to pull together to figure out ways that they can help. We're working closely with the Tavares Police Charity to raise funds for the family. Additionally, we're accepting gift cards on the family's behalf just clothes even. The little boy doesn't have any clothes right now. We recently were able to get out and get them some clothing. Dad flew down here in a rush, didn't pack a bag, so we also were having to get him some clothing. So I think gift cards would help. I posted on our Facebook page today a direct link that goes to our charity, and all of those funds will go towards the family.
Neither of these boys had clothes?
They had clothes within the house. The house is currently sectioned off as a crime scene, so.
Where does this case go from here? Are there still unanswered questions? Are you, as of right now, just waiting on the boy's condition? What's ahead?
So naturally, we want to see where the boy's condition is going to go. We are, again, hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. From here, we're going to dive into all the evidence that we have, and we're going to just streamline this to the best of our ability to make sure they stay where they are right now. But we're working hard. If we have to add more charges because more information comes about, we will happily do so. I'm going to take one more question.
There was a new law passed that puts the death penalty in play if it's a child rape case. Could this be in play?
So at this point, give me 1 second. So because our victim is still in critical condition, we have not been able to disclose any details regarding the sexual abuse. Because of his condition, there's certain physical examinations that cannot be performed. So we cannot definitively say if it occurred, but if it has occurred, once we are able to do those examinations, naturally those charges will be brought to. I do appreciate you all coming. Thank you so much, and we'll keep you posted on anything else. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good.